Elevate her out your temple and let it ventilate. I told you how to balance the mind. Let me reiterate the situation you felt to mention. I hope you meditate with strong ass faith. You hold the key to unlocking your fate. Eliminate the venom that circulate through your system. With proper education, you see it with perfect vision. That's if you do it for self and tackle forward clarity. Don't fuck with theories that center in negativity. Yo, sex magic, demonic possession, blood rituals. Now, the reason I'm doing this video, well, first, just look around. You should see like a fourth dimensional effect. You can see like the energy particles flowing and all that shit. I decided to take us here, the astral plane, the fourth dimension, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Because this is how reality truly looks beyond the surface. Now, the reason I'm making this video is all these dark or so-called dark topics that I speak of are not really dark. They're just dark because of where we are in our minds. Just think about it. Just think about Egyptian culture, just as an example. Do you really think Egyptian culture will be accepted today? Now, we're talking about one of the greatest civilizations ever. Do you really think, at our level of consciousness, that we would even accept what they will have going on? Just imagine you can go to Egypt right now and it's in full bloom mode. They doing their thing. They got all the technology, they got everything just popping off. Do you really think that the world will accept Egypt in its pure form? Not at all. Because it's easy to accept Egypt after it's already gone and you just stare at the ruins. But if Egypt was really in full effect, with they sex, magic, blood rituals, they taking all type of potions, drugs, going into the spirit realm, having books like the Book of the Dead, showing people what to do after they die. You know what I mean? Got gold all in your coffin being preserved like a god. Do you really think that culture would even be able to exist? That people will accept it? Not at all. Because if you say we live in an oppressed society, an oppressed country, do you really think they want you to be over there in Egypt? No, they would do everything they can to keep you suppressed. They would, just like the same thing they do with Africa. All you see is the bullshit in Africa. You know, the babies at the skinny and the ribs and shit. They don't show you the pure essence of Africa. They don't show you the pure essence of Egypt. They don't show you the pure essence of Europe or anywhere else in the world. Everywhere else in the world is just vacation spots and, you know, just shit to make money for them. They don't really show you the pure in the essence of the culture, whether it's in the past or the present. They don't show you any of that shit. So Egypt or any ancient culture would look crazy to us today. The modern man, the so-called man of the future with the technology and all this shit. People over there would look crazy because of the type of shit that they're into, because it's real spiritual shit. When you take drugs, psychedelics, magical potions, have sex, magic, all these things that so-called just ridiculous and of the devil and demonic and evil, excuse me, you're tapping into your true spirituality. You're opening up your third eye. So if we are in a country or a civilization or a culture that wants to close your third eye, whether you're talking about fluoride in the water or the foods or whatever the case is, or they're giving you shots and vaccines, all these things to keep you suppressed, what make you think that Egypt would be accepted, that your actual real culture would be accepted? Whatever your real culture is, our true religion, our true spiritual systems, do you really think they will be accepted? They won't. So whenever we talk about these subjects, this is simply pure spirituality and ancient culture that's revealing itself. You can accept it or you can deny it, but at the end of the day, you can't deny that the shit works. Otherwise, people like me wouldn't exist. We wouldn't have the ability to talk about these things because it would just be pure lies. People wouldn't be able to benefit from this type of information. Shit like this wouldn't even exist. So in a sense, you have to go crazy. You have to do the exact opposite of what everybody wants you to do. See, all our so-called friends and family and all these motherfuckers, they not truly down with the spiritual culture because they have been suppressed. So it ain't even to blame people. Don't blame your mom, your friends for being not on your side and they don't understand you because they're not supposed to. They've been suppressed just like we've all have been suppressed. They have no idea what their true religion is. They're going around claiming they're Christians and Muslims, and at the end of the day, what was our religion before that? Before there was a such thing as a Christian, before there was a such thing as a Muslim, what was our true religion? There's not many people that can answer that. Because even if you go to the Indians, if you feel that you was here before the colonization happened, you can go back into any Indian culture. They were not worshiping any white images. Jesus didn't have, it was no such thing as Jesus and all these modern day concepts. These are all new concepts. The shit did not exist. So what were we doing? You go to Egypt, you see what the fuck they was doing. They was worshiping images of themselves. The gods looked like the Egyptians themselves. Every culture has gods and spiritual systems that reflect how they look. Because why would you have something else? Why would you have a culture of Indians worshiping Asians? It makes no sense. And you expect people to accept that. It doesn't make sense. People have their own culture, their own spiritual system that reflects their DNA codes and the type of life that they live and what they are about. So, if all these things was forced upon us, you literally have to go crazy just to get into your own spirituality. This is why when drugs hit the community that it had such a big effect. Because people wanted to get high because they wanted to escape oppression. But obviously you don't escape oppression physically, you just go to a different place mentally. That's why people do drugs now, to go somewhere else mentally. But even though they have no idea where they're trying to go. And that's why you have to be of a higher mind to even in taking those things. I would not recommend anybody indulge in anything I'm talking about if you're not of the proper state of mind, because you're going to get lost. You try to fucking smoke a strong bag of weed, you may get high, but you're not going to have any idea where to go. You're not going to have any idea of what type of thoughts to formulate within your mind to stay focused and to have a spiritual experience, not just to be high and have fun and watch movies. To have a spiritual experience, to have a spiritual revelation. You have to be of a certain mindset first. You have to have a proper foundation of what your religion is, what is within your own heart. That's why you rename yourself. If you're going around still calling yourself by your birth name, what indication do you have that you are in touch with your true spirituality? That's the first step. When you're in tune with your true spirituality, the first thing you do is change your name to reflect that true spirituality. The essence of whatever you feel in your heart is reflected throughout the new name that you choose to take upon yourself. Because when you change your name, your whole reality changes. If you don't know about that, then you obviously are not at that level. When you change your name, your whole reality changes. That's why the name I've chosen for this channel is just a reflection of my own spiritual growth and my own spiritual experiences. The science behind my name, it came to me because I was doing spiritual work. It came to me and I took the name upon myself. I went through many names, but they all are a reflection of me tapping into my true essence. So whoever has taken on a spiritual name, that's because you're taking on your spiritual essence, and that's who you choose to identify by, and that's what you choose. That's what people see when they look at you. They don't see your birth name. They see whatever name that you're reflecting, and that's the reality that you reflect. So you literally have to go crazy to get in tune with your own true spirituality beyond oppression, because we are able to supersede oppression because we have an open third eye. If you are an original person, meaning that you are in tune with original science and original culture, you have an open third eye, and it's because of this true vision that the third eye gives you that you are able to supersede whatever situation you're in, and it doesn't require money. Because just look at hip hop. Look at the history of hip hop. Hip hop was already fully established before any record labels or people recorded actual music on disc. Before hip hop was this business, the culture was already set in stone in the streets because it was what they felt their true spirituality was. It was already set in stone. before any of the money and all that shit even came into play. So if the culture was already set in stone, we was already doing our own thing, what make you think that money is going to do anything? Money is not going to free you. You have to be free from yourself. You have to elevate beyond the physical within your own mind, so that from that point, now if you choose to indulge in sex, magic, and drugs and all these things, the demons and blood rituals, if you choose to engage in these activities, it's going to make more sense and it's going to give you a spiritual revelation, as opposed of you do it and you have no idea what you're doing. You get what I'm saying? So you have to literally lose your mind and go out of your mind, and people around you think you crazy and you just make no fucking sense. And you know what I mean? This may cause you to lose your job, get put out of your mom's house, get fucking, your friends don't want to fuck with you no more. All these things will change, and that's how you know that you are tapping into your true self. Because everybody is cool when everybody's on the same page, but the moment you want to do some other shit because you feel that's your path, then that's how you really know who's with you. Because if you have a change of heart and people don't want to fuck with you no more, they wasn't fucking with you in the first place. They were just there for the ride. If you are a heavy weed smoker and you have a bunch of 420 friends, and the day you decide to stop smoking, nobody is calling you anymore, you know what it is. When everybody's on the same page, everything is cool. But the moment you tap into who you really are and people start to distance themselves from you, then that's how you know you're really tapping into some real shit. You get what I'm saying? That's why, you know, if people ask me about any dark magic or rituals or whatever the case is, I always recommend Baphomet. That image of Baphomet, put that into your life. Put that shit on your walls. Put dark rituals and dark symbols. Anything that has something to do with anything dark, you have to put that in your reality. You have to reflect it outward. It can't just be somewhere locked up in your closet or somewhere in a notebook that nobody sees it. It has to be all around your environment, because that will charge your environment with spiritual energy. When you charge your environment with spiritual energy, that's when you start to have spiritual revelations, because now the spiritual energy is channeled into your home and whatever environment you're in. You get what I'm saying? Like, the shit is really simple, because it's for a chosen few. If you're satisfied with your good paying job, do you. If you're satisfied with your normal relationship and you're a family person and all these things, do you. But there's always a chosen few that are called upon to go to war when it's time for war. When it's time for war, you have to leave behind all that shit. Whatever job you're working, leave it behind. Whatever family you have or established, you have to leave it behind, and you have to go to war, and you have to put your life on the line to fight for your freedom or your country or whatever the case is. It's the same thing with this spiritual shit. If you're not willing to drop all of that, even if it's temporary, you ain't got to drop it permanently, but if you're not willing to put all these things to the side for your own spiritual revelations and your own spiritual experience, you may have to travel to Egypt, Greece, Asia, whatever the case is. You may not be able to take your family. If you're not willing to put all that behind you because you are more interested in living your truth beyond anything physical, then this is not for you. Because if you just claiming to be a spiritual person, but you still want to live within the regular system and the system that's established, you're not real about this shit. We are here to bring in a new evolution, a new science, a new spiritual revelation. We're not here to just live what's already been established. That's not the point. If you know anything about hip-hop or any spiritual system, we had to fight for it. It wasn't just given to you because you wanted it. You had to fight for it, and you had to make it known that we're not going anywhere, and we're willing to put our life on the line for this shit. You willing to die for your spiritual system. You willing to die for your spiritual culture. And those who are around you and those who are just as dedicated as you, willing to do the same thing. You can see it with the gangbang culture. Where when you got your niggas with you, when it's time to go to war, everybody's going to war. And if that means somebody's not coming back, then somebody's not coming back, but they still are going to do it. Because that's what they believe in with their heart. And that doesn't make them wrong. Because if it's really true to you, then you are willing to do whatever it takes. Does it not make sense? You get what I'm saying? We live in a dirty world. Everybody knows this. You're not about to win trying to be clean in a dirty world. It's not going to happen. It's just like You're up against people that's putting in cheat codes. They got grenade launchers and shit. You there with a fucking pistol. You going up against a whole society with a bunch of grenade launchers because they got cheat codes, and you really think you're going to win with a pistol? It's not going to happen. You have to be able to get your hands dirty, even if it's only temporary. I'm not telling nobody you have to be a dirty person. You may have to do bad things, but that doesn't make you a bad person. There's a difference between being wrong and doing wrong. When you're just being wrong, that's one thing, but you're doing wrong for a temporary cause. That's different as well. If you're not willing to get your hands dirty in a dirty world, how do you expect change to happen? Because everybody's just being civil and civilized and you want to fucking march in the streets and shit. Nobody gives a fuck because people have power. They don't care about no fucking people marching in the street. If you have power, do you really care about people fucking putting up signs and doing all that and just getting all in their emotions? You got power. Because if they go past a certain limit, you can call the fucking police and they clear that shit up. And that's what happened every time. Every time there's been a riot or a fucking uprising, they call the police clears the shit out, everybody goes back to living their normal lives. What changed? You get what I'm saying? We just have to, when we look at history and we look at all the movements that happened, you can see what I'm talking about. When you look at slavery, there's the ones who turned their cheek and who just was a slave, then there was the ones who rebelled. You had the rebels, then you had the ones who just wanted to deal with it and who just was fucking praying and like, oh, we pray for better days. But while you was, not you, but while they was sitting somewhere praying, it was motherfuckers out doing some real work, putting in some real work. Some fucking slave rebellions. Killing motherfuckers. It was people out there really doing work, and that's what really caused the change. It wasn't just for people praying, not doing shit with your hands. You ain't about to pray and just fucking some shit is just gonna magically happen. It's the ones who's going out there making the shit happen. That's the ones who's bringing about the change, because that's the real threat. The threat ain't just people fucking sitting in a circle praying. It's the ones who's willing to get their hands dirty for a proper cause. Does that not make sense? You know what I mean? Because if you programmed to suffer, because that's basically what's going on. When a person is suppressed, they're programmed to suffer. They sabotage themselves. As they say, self-sabotage. You in a good relationship, you fuck it up. You in a good job, you fuck it up. You sabotage yourself because you're programmed to suffer because you feel like you're not worth to fucking succeed in life. Because you're suppressed. How are you going to be suppressed but succeed in life? You have to take the chains off of your brains first before you ever can even think about success. You got so many people that's trying to manifest money and material things and all this, but you still suppressed. You still oppressing your mind. So even if you get all those things, you're not going to be able to keep it because you haven't done the necessary foundation, the necessary work to establish a proper foundation to maintain your freedom. It's just like breaking out of jail and you get caught 2 days later because you didn't do the proper work to really be free. It's not going to happen. You get what I'm saying? Because this is not our world. Our world, those who are spiritual, exist in the higher planes. That's why we're here now. The third eye. Your third eye can project you into whatever reality you choose to be in. Not this physical reality. This physical reality is for those who are caught up. Those who don't know what the fuck they're doing. Those who care just strictly about money and success and fame, all this material shit, and they don't give a fuck about spiritual evolution. Those are the people who are lost. Those are the people who don't know what they got plenty money, plenty success, plenty fame, but what are they really doing? They're just upholding the system that's already established. They're not doing shit to knock it down. It's those who have the spiritual vision, who can see beyond this physical plane, who have the ability and the courage and the fearlessness to bring in that new revelation and to live it out. It ain't even enough to have the revelation. You have to live the shit out. And most of the time when it's new, people think it's crazy. Motherfuckers didn't accept hip-hop. I said this shit in videos. Hip-hop wasn't always cool. It's cool now that it's fucking, people can make money from it and fucking leech off of this shit. But it wasn't always cool. When hip-hop was strictly in the streets, nobody was fucking with that shit. Because it wasn't cool. It's like, you know, smoking weed is cool now because it's legal on the West Coast in certain fucking cities and shit. When weed was illegal everywhere, if you was a weed smoker, people look down on you. They're like, oh, this motherfucker, you fucking low life and you want to leech off of people. They wasn't fucking with you like that. It's cool now, but we just have to remember the struggles that whatever movement that's okay now, it wasn't always cool. It took time. It took people to constantly be doing it over and over, day in and day out, to eventually they had to make it legal. If people wasn't already smoking weed, do you think they would have legalized it? Not at all. It was because people like, yo, we're gonna do this shit anyway, whether it's illegal or illegal. So eventually they just had to make up their mind, well, we might as well get some money from this shit because people were doing this shit anyway. And we don't want the money just to be going to the underground people. They get rich and wealthy and all this shit, and we're just missing out on all this money. So they just had to do it because people were determined to fucking do that shit regardless of what the fuck was going on, whatever the consequences were. So let's get into the fucking theme of the video. Now, with the sex magic is just simply having sex with a divine purpose. Meaning you have a partner who is with you till death. As they say, marriage. Again, marriage is not about the fucking paperwork. It's about two people having the same common cause and who's willing to ride the shit out to death. If you don't have a partner that's willing to ride out with you to death, that's not a fucking partner. You're wasting your time. Because if you trying to do this shit and they're satisfied with just living with the good paying job and all that shit, they don't give a fuck about change, it's not gonna work. It's not supposed to work. It's fucking two different worlds trying to clash, and it's like, no, you need a partner that's with you till death. And if you don't have a partner, then you just have yourself. You gotta ride and be with you and God, or you and the devil, or you and Satan, whatever the fuck whatever you claim. Again, this is beyond right or wrong. Fuck all that bullshit. We talking about some real shit. So sex magic is just having sex with a divine purpose intact. Whatever you feel your purpose is, whatever you feel that your true culture is, you keep that in mind while you are making love with your partner. And that helps that sexual energy, that sexual transmutation to take place so that you can create the reality that you're envisioning in your own mind based on the spiritual revelations you have. Now, you analyze yourself, because as you're having these spiritual revelations and you feel good, you're releasing the muscle tensions and you're feeling good about yourself, you have to really analyze how to really implement this into your real life. Because it's one thing to have sex, it feels good. It's another thing to have the spiritual revelations and to actually apply them. That means you have to really analyze yourself. You have to have a proper foundation. You have to really be about this shit. You can't be half-assed with it because you're only going to get half-assed results. You got to be real about the fucking shit you're talking about. You got to be real about the shit you're living. And of course it's going to be hard. Nothing that's good came easy. Everybody's going to be against you. You're going to be the black sheep of your family. You're going to fucking have to go through all type of shit. It don't fucking matter. It's either you do it or you don't. And if you choose to do it, then you got to deal with whatever comes with it. So that's all sex magic is on the surface without going too deep into the shit. Is having sex with a partner that's on the same page with you, which will create a spiritual revelation that you both may have or your partner may have, and the spiritual revelation can speak through them, or it can speak through you through visions, through voice or spirits coming within you, and that's why we go into demonic possession. Demonic possession, you can say, is the true spiritual essence of your true religion. Whatever we deem as demons, especially in a Christian sense or whatever the case is really your own spiritual system, your own true religion. That's what a demon is. Because a demon, you can just look at Egypt. You can say you have Osiris and you have Set. Osiris and Set date back all the way to the beginning of Egyptian history. Set has always been in the pantheons. In the religious cultures. Set has always been there, just like Osiris has always been there. So if Osiris and Set, the good and the bad, whatever, the negative and the positive, whatever, however you want to put it, if they both has always been there, Set killed Osiris, he took over, then Haru came and he took over. That's just how the shit goes. A motherfucker rules, somebody dethrone him, and another person rules, and he's gonna get, it's a circular process. So you can say whoever is ruling right now, eventually they're going to get dethroned, and a true spiritual revelation will come because it always has came. That's why hip-hop exists. Hip-hop exists because this is for some, their true religion, their true spiritual systems. And that's, they can live within the hip-hop community and within the hip-hop culture and live how they're supposed to live, which is outside of the oppression. Even though you may be in this country, you don't have to be suppressed. If you truly live the spiritual culture, and again, this is beyond a fucking record label, this is beyond recording music, this is really just living hip-hop for what it truly is. And again, hip-hop as an example, whatever your religion is. And the demons are just simply your true ancestors, your true spiritual, as you say, you can call it whatever you want to call it. It's just the true ancestors or the true spirits of the spiritual systems that have been suppressed. But just look at it. What would you call the true religion of everybody that came before us that was really living that shit? You would call whatever gods that they worship, you would call them demons. Because if you're trying to bring in a new religion and you want to suppress people, you're going to make them think that their own true religion is a bunch of demons. You're going to make them think that what they used to worship was something demonic and something evil. So you're going to place that in their mind, and over time they're going to believe, like, oh, I don't know, I want nothing to do with that. And that's what we see today, where people don't want nothing to do with their true religion, and they want to accept what was given to them by somebody who has no idea what their culture is. Now lastly, with the blood rituals, meaning there has never been no type of evolution without bloodshed. Whether it's killing somebody, whether it's you're bleeding from your own self, an animal sacrifice, there's never been any type of change without some type of bloodshed, without some type of sacrifice. It's bound to happen at some point. You can look at hip-hop or any spiritual culture where you had invaders coming in and you had to defend your people. If you have invaders coming in, you got to defend your people, and that's till the death. Everybody didn't make it. Just like they say, what the fuck, the Indians got slaughtered. By who? The invaders. If the Indians got slaughtered, that means they was fighting to the death. They didn't just roll over peacefully. Like, okay, I'm just about to let you take my fucking history, my people, and enslave my people, and I'm just going to stand around and not do shit. They fought to the death. And some of them died and became a part of the ancestors because that's what they lived for. That's what they was about. So if you're not willing to take it to that level, then you shouldn't really begin it, because it's not all about the good shit. It's about being true to this shit through the good, the bad, and the ugly. Through bloodshed, through peace, through harmony, through anything, where it can only be like two people left who's really true about the culture. Those two people can start to procreate and recreate the culture if they so choose, or they can turn a different leaf and fucking just like, fuck it, it ain't enough of us, we just gonna do what everybody else is doing. So that's just a quick thing, you get what I'm saying? Just be you, live your culture. If you are true to your shit, then it shouldn't be a problem. If not, just do whatever, you know what I mean? Take care of your family and pay your bills. You get what I'm saying? So, peace, hotel.